Good evening and welcome to Black Cats Chat, the international fans podcast for Sunderland FC. My name is Lee Thurgle. I'm from the Bilbao Black Cats. And this afternoon, we're back with another winning 3 points review show. And I'm glad to be joined by Pete Showler. He's in Washington State, originally from Chesterley Street. Pete, good morning or good afternoon, whatever it is to you.
It's just gone after. Oh, it's still morning, 11:40.
Yeah.
Aye, still having a cup of coffee.
Yeah, all good.
Oh, all tremendous, man. Especially watching our defenders score goals like there's no tomorrow.
Aye, definitely. Yeah. And well, he's joined by our second guest, who is one of two people that I have to put not suitable for kids on YouTube and Spotify when I upload the episode. It's Ian McNee from the German Black Cats. Ian, how are you?
I'm all right today. How's yourself? I'll join you in a bit of something out of Oak smoke there, Pete. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Lovely stuff. I'm all right, mate. And the second person, by the way, who I have to put not suitable for kids is Sean Coxon in New Jersey because he swears his head off. He swears his head off to Sean. So, anyway,
Sean.
Yeah.
He had a hard upbringing. Can't be easy being a Sunderland supporter in Dunstan.
Tell me about it, aye. But anyway, we're here to talk about Sunderland. We had a 2-0 win against Wolves in front of 46,578. A lovely goal from Nordi Mukiele and an own goal to see us 7th place, 14 points, or Pete, if you prefer, joint 5th with Chelsea and Tottenham. Or,
that's the way I like it. Aye.
Or listen, 2 points off second or a point off third. Which one do you want?
2 points off second. Let's keep it that way.
All right.
Hey, we're only 1 point behind Liverpool.
Yeah, I know. Hey, we've got the same goal difference as well as them. Like Bournemouth and them are 3rd and 4th, and we've got the same goal difference, +3. So
the difference is, Ian, Liverpool have lost the last 4.
Aye, true. Oh, well, maybe we'll start that on Saturday. I hope not, but you never know. Got a
less of the positive self-talk.
Yeah, we might upset the mags. We might upset the mags if we start getting too positive. You know what I mean? Especially
Alan Shearer might even start talking about us.
Oh, sod that bastard.
Oh, fucking hell. Did you see that on Saturday? My God, that was embarrassing. It was awful. I mean, he just refused to say anything about us at all. You know, what on earth? Why is he on there? How much money is he on? Yeah. He should earn his fucking money. Sorry.
Not just him, but I think Micah Richards as well. Like, he doesn't really give much input in the game. He said, sign lots of players, but good players next. So, but anyway,
Micah Richards is only on there because he laughs a lot.
Yeah.
Well, he's on. We've got the Champions League games coming up, and Micah Richards is on that show over here with Thierry Henry and Maka, and he's hilarious. But he doesn't talk much sense.
Yeah.
No, he
just laughs. He just laughs. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you saw that thing on Talk Sport about the Newcastle fan Dylan who rang up upset, and the Sunderland fan Jordan put him in his place, and he was saying Sunderland fans are obsessed with Newcastle. They think this and that, and they think about Newcastle all the time. And I'm going to say, Dylan, I think about Newcastle maybe once, possibly twice a day, and it usually happens at the same time I'm getting off the bog seat and wiping my rear end. So, and I think there's like a Me Too moment in there somewhere as well for a lot of Sunderland fans. Anyway, listen, Ian, it was an international break, another one. We hate those international breaks. We had 9 out of the starting 11 were away in international break. So there was a bit of unease, wasn't there? Before the game, because we lost the last game against Man United, there was a bit of disappointment, and Wolves were coming, even though they bottomed. The Sunderland fans were a bit on edge, weren't they? Because Siddiqui apparently got injured, Alderete apparently got injured, but both of them started. So,
well, I mean, it's what we are. I mean, what Pete said earlier on, you know, that I shouldn't be so pessimistic. I'm sorry, mate, but I've supported Sunderland knowingly for over 65 years, and it does that to you. You know, I mean, you learn to be pessimistic, and a Sunderland supporter can't be a Sunderland supporter if he's not pessimistic, as far as I'm concerned. And as far as losing to Man United, okay, Reggie got it wrong in the first half an hour, but at least he had the balls to change it. And he changed it well, as far as I'm concerned. Certainly, we didn't concede any more goals, and with a bit of luck, we could have had at least one goal. If the referee hadn't been a homer, we could have had a penalty as well. So the Man United defeat didn't really bother me all that much. And coming into this game, okay, we had a lot of lads away on international duty. I absolutely hate this breakup all the time. The next one's in 4 weeks' time again. Hello? What is going on? You know, do we really need all these bloody international games all the time? I certainly don't. I miss me football. I'm at the point now where I don't even watch it. I don't know the half of the England team these days, and I don't watch it. I just maybe catch up on the goals on the news, and that's it. But coming back to Sunderland anyway, I'm sorry I'm rambling a bit here. Probably something to do with what's in here. You know?
I tell you what, I'll have to buy Zoom Premium with you, Ian. You have to help me out. I have to have a whip round.
You got a double Maxim in there or what?
No, it's only water. Well, it's clear anyway. It might be schnapps, I don't know. No, but obviously we travelled well, and the reports of Siddiqui's and Alderetti's deaths were well over. What was the news? Oh, forget it. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, they got on the pitch and they did well. Siddiqui, for somebody who has a broken ankle, he covered a hell of a lot of grass. And
what did you see? The Sky Sports Team of the Week?
Aye, 4.5.
Siddiqui was in there. Alderetti, Mukele, and Hume. Three of our back four, and
Danny Welbeck
that were injured.
Danny Welbeck as well. We had 4.5 players in that team.
Ahmad should have been in there as well after his game against Liverpool.
Aye, that would have been good. That was a hell of a ball for Mbono, though.
Anyway, right. So, Pete, the lineup. I mean, Lebris seems to have this bit of obsession, doesn't it, with playing Traore on the right-hand side. Can you understand why he's doing that and why he's not playing the likes of Talbi or Adingra or even Mayenda on the right and giving Traore? Because for me, Traore, he's a player that could be useful for the latter stages of a game rather than starting a game, because he seems a bit lazy, in my opinion.
I'd agree. And, you know, we've got Trey Hume, who said when he's got Ballard and Alderetti and Mukele playing, he'll play anywhere to play. So he's playing left back, even though he was outstanding for Northern Ireland at right back in the week. So you've got players who, especially as Hume being right-footed predominantly, is on the left. Why don't you put Mayenda on the right? It'd be like having Roberts, because he's predominantly left-footed and cutting inside. I mean, Giggsy did it better than anybody, you know, at Man United. But Roberts did it phenomenally well, and he's doing it phenomenally well for Birmingham City right now. Why don't you put Mayenda out there and have him cut in? Isidore just feed off his speed and his balls across the box. And Lefay's just been outstanding lately as well. He's everywhere. But answer your question, I would agree with you. He does seem, I don't know if it's lazy or he's just not up to speed with the Premier League, but the game passes him by. And when we have Hume out there, even Rigg was getting beyond him. You know, Riggy's playing well. He's picking up a lot from Granit Xhaka, but Rigg was higher up the field than our wide players, you know. So there's something got to change there. I don't know. Maybe he's got some pictures of Lebris in some compromising positions with an apple, or, you know, I don't know. But I.
What you mean, like Putin and Trump?
Oh, don't get me started on those two. Try living
Sorry,
over
no,
here.
Try living over here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the other kind of decision that Lebris had to make was like taking Masuaku out, and as you mentioned, he put Trey Hume or at left back, Mukiele at the right back, and brings Dan Ballard back in. Does that make it easy now for Lebris to say to Trey Hume next week, all right, I'm sorry, but I'm putting Reynaldo back in because he's a left footer and we want that balance?
Nah, Now, I mean, Trey Hume, as Pete said, just wants a game of football, and he's a bloody good footballer. There's no doubt about that, whether he's playing on the right-hand side or the left-hand side. He plays on the left-hand side of a back three for Northern Ireland, so he's well capable of doing it. As opposed to go back to your question on Pete before I answer the question you just asked me, Traoré and the Moroccan lad whose name I always forget, Kim Talby, yeah.
Talby, yep.
I think neither of them can last a game. So to go back to your point, Pete, where you said, or I think it was you that said, Lee, bring Traoré on later. He could have done that. What he did was the other way around. He put Traoré on to start with, and then Talby. Maybe he saw something in Traoré in the last game or the last couple of games that he's been turning out. He thought, oh, well, it might be worth persisting with him. Maybe Talby was a wee bit crippled or had a knock or something like that. But you could see when Talby came on Saturday, he made a definite difference. Okay. Certainly more so than Traoré. And it didn't help that Traoré gave away the ball twice in quick succession just before he got hauled. So I don't think that helped his cause at all. But you go back to Hume and Reinildo coming back in, I can see us playing a back five against Chelsea. And then you got no problem with Hume being in. Hume goes to wing back, the same as Mukiele. Mm-hmm. And you've got the back three of Reinildo.
Back five, yeah. I'll let
Ballard. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry to say it, but I think that Rig might be sacrificed. Bring Talby in instead of Traoré. And then you've got, as far as I can see, a fairly stable midfield. Certainly a bloody stable defence. And we're going to need all the luck we can get against Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea is a bloody good team. They're a different calibre to any other team that we've played so far. Even Manchester United. I mean, I thought that Manchester United were lucky against us, although they did well against Liverpool, or Liverpool did badly against Manchester United. It could be the other way around. I can see us going for a back five. That's
all right. Well, we're going to talk about the Chelsea game later as well.
Trey Hume will stay in.
He'll stay in, will he? All right. Right then, Pete. So the game started quite well for us, didn't it, against Wolves? I mean, Isidore had that disallowed goal, but that was like some finish on his left foot, wasn't it?
Well, it just shows the confidence. It just shows the confidence he has. It just shows the confidence he has. What a ball through it was, and then what a finish. And that just shows the confidence he has. He rocketed that left foot past. There wasn't much of a gap between the keeper and the post. And he just lashed that one in. And it just shows the confidence. It just shows the confidence that he has. And that's great for the team. Because, like I say, if we have, instead of having Traoré out there, if we get someone like Mayenda and Lafay and people like that and Reinildo putting crosses in, he's going to get on the end of them.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, confidence is massive for Isidore, because when he hasn't got confidence, you can see that he's not playing well at all. You saw like last season, he had, after he signed that permanent deal to stay with the club, he went through a drought, didn't he? And he didn't.
And I don't know if
worst thing he ever did.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just the pressure was off and then he eased off. The nice thing is we had Mayenda could come in then.
Yeah.
And Reig and Job were playing so well higher up the field, so it happened. But he feeds off that stuff now, and it seems like he's really bought in. The team camaraderie just seems fantastic right now. And I know that Danny Collins lad who does a lot of the commentating. He works in the academy, and he sees the first team training, and he just seems to think that the team camaraderie and is just fantastic right now. And they're all feeding off that. And I don't know if you see a lot of the Twitter stuff they do. But he's in there talking Mara. He's always getting all the lingo and all of that stuff. And he's really bought into what Sunderland's about. And I love that. And they did an interview over here. I don't know if you saw it over there, but Peter Reid was interviewed after one of the games. And I think him and Kevin Phillips were sat next to each other, I think. I know Bawley and Phillips were there for the opening of the bridge at the weekend, but there was a time Peter Reid was at the game and Phillips was there, and they were just loving on how the team had bonded. And Peter Reid was talking about Sunderland till I die and how the changing room was then, and he thinks it's very similar now. Like nobody lets anyone get away, and I think Xhaka's a big reason for that.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. And just on the point of Isidore, is that we have to remember that he didn't even start the playoff final. He came off the bench, and he didn't even start the first game of the season. Right. So you can see that's a good thing as well. That Lebris is not afraid to change his forward line if they're not performing.
Well, remember last year it was 75 minutes before Lebris would bring a sub on. The fact last week he made that change about 28 minutes in or whatever it was shows that he's adapting to the game. And if you listen to the pundits, we get different pundits over here to what you lads have. But a lot of them, it's Lee Dixon and Graham Lasso, who were seasoned pros and won a lot of championships, Premier League titles. They rave about what a job that RLB's doing. And he's just so calm and collected about everything that he does. They just rant and rave about him, and they love him.
Get him to replace
rightly so. I mean, sorry, mate. Yeah, I was going to say rightly so because RLB is the best thing that's happened to us. It's Peter Reid. You know what I mean? Peter Reid. My view of Peter Reid is a bit coloured by his last season with us. He seemed to be set in his ways. He pissed off an awful lot of good players. Alan Johnson, perfect example. We could have used him for the last season that he was with us, instead of just saying you're not going to play for us because you can bugger off to Rangers at the end of the season. So what, would still paying his wages? Let's use the bugger, you know. But RLB, I don't think he can do out wrong. Well, as far as I'm concerned, okay, the first half an hour at Man United was wrong. He got it wrong, but at least he was man enough to admit it and change it.
Yeah,
and that during the game.
I can't recall a Sunderland coach like Regis Lebris that doesn't get angry or visibly angry or frustrated. I mean, Mowbray had a reputation of getting angry on his West Brom days, but with us, he rarely got annoyed. You could see he got frustrated, but he didn't really get angry. But Lebris just plays it down, doesn't he, Pete?
He does, and Mogga was like that. He's like that as a person. I know he spent a lot of time at Middlesbrough playing and managing, but his demeanour. You're right. At West Brom, he kind of flicked a switch, but he's just got that calming influence, and I think that's huge for what Regis Lebris brings in. It just has it's like watching Granit Xhaka play. It's like him coaching. There's very rare Xhaka gets fired up and gets a tackle in, but he's calm in terms of organisation and structure and giving advice to players, but demanding of them. And I think Regis Lebris does that quietly, but he's brought a confidence. I mean, no side's won more points than Sunderland at home this season.
And
we've already got more points than Southampton got the whole of last year. You know what I mean?
White
stripes, I know.
That's impressive.
It is, isn't it?
Ian, on our goal then, I mean, I was doing a live show the other night with Wee Philly on SAFC Fan TV, and I actually said that we haven't scored a team goal like that all season. All of our goals this season have come from just a cross or nothing with any kind of nice build-up. So it was really nice to see us finally score a goal that unlocked the defence.
Yeah, I mean, going back to what you were saying about Xhaka, Pete, I was chatting with my mate on WhatsApp on Sunday, and I described Xhaka as being a polar bear in a fridge at the North Pole. That's how cool he is. Because you just can't upset him. I mean, there's a few times on Saturday, he got the ball facing our goal about 12 yards out. He was in the 18-yard box. And the normal reaction would be to kick the bugger out of the stand. He didn't. He stood on the ball. He didn't even look round. He turned round and then he started bringing it away because he's got this antenna that tells him if anybody's up his arse or anything like that. And there weren't, thank God, or maybe he knew. But the goal, You have a look at how Lefay got the ball. Xhaka, left foot, inside of his foot, over the top, to Lefay's feet. Directly to his feet. Not for Lefay to run onto, directly to his feet. And when Lefay's got the ball at his feet, he can do anything. Then he did his Cruyff turn, knocked it back to Mukiele, who played a 1-2 with Trier, and then had his shot, which, thank God, went through the keeper's legs. But I think the way that Mukiele was travelling, and you saw him sort of do a little jump, it looked as though he was going to try and leapfrog the keeper to get at the ball and make sure it went over the line. I mean, he would have knocked the keeper in the net with the ball if the keeper had got anywhere near it. But thank God it went in, and it was a well-worked goal. I mean, you're talking about team goals. The best team goal I've seen for a long time was the one away, was Jack Clark's away to Reading.
Yeah.
We had 15 touches from Patterson all the way up, and Dan Neal's crossfield ball, Clark was just on a penny. And Clark dummy put the defender on his arse and just rolled it past the keeper. That was a team goal, and we got that on Saturday as well. But I don't give a shit if it goes in off somebody's arse. The main thing is we've scored a goal. Yeah. The best goal on Saturday was the own goal. They're always the best ones, them.
Yeah, I mean, Pete, it's not really rocket science, that type of football. The way we scored that goal, it's pretty basic, isn't it? Like, it's like pass and move in a 1-2.
It is. When you switch the point of attack, Xhaka does that as well as anybody. I just go back to Ian's point, though. When Xhaka was at Arsenal, he was fiery. He got stuck in the tackle, and he was up, and he was ranting and raving at everybody around him. He goes off to Germany later in his career and then comes back. He's more calm. He captains his national team. He plays international footy, and he plays 90 minutes every game. And then he comes and has this calming effect. So I think he's matured. You know, I watched the Brentford game yesterday, and, you know, I'm glad we didn't sign Jordan Henderson, but I still love him as a guy and what he did for us at Sunderland, and he loves Sunderland as well. But I'm glad we got Xhaka over him, because it's night and day. And I just feel that was a hell of a goal. So to answer your question, Lee, I mean, switching the point of attack like that, Lefay touch is spectacular. But the fact you've got two defenders playing 1-2s to score the goal, and I'm sure I'm sure he called them eggs when it went through the keeper's legs. Come on.
Definitely. And if anyone deserves a goal, it's Mukiele, because he's been class this season. Go on, Ian.
He's slow. Hold on a minute. There's a bloody phone again. I'm going to disappear.
Right. All right. Well, Pete, I'm going to come back to you because we've been talking about Xhaka. So I don't know if you saw on Instagram, he put this post to say, like, thank you to one of his friends. And he says, like, how do I stay fit, focused, and mentally strong on the field and in life? And he wants to share the real reason, which is his best friend, a guy called Patrick DeBrani. He's helped him with his knowledge of body and mind and regeneration, dietary changes, breathing techniques, mental work, and targeted recovery phases. And he says he was skeptical at first, but his calmness, wisdom, and depth convinced me. You are what you eat and what you think. And I think that kind of sums up that we're getting a very good version of Granit Xhaka at the end of his career.
Yeah, we are. It reminds me a lot of, and again, I don't know who you have doing the commentating on the games over there, but we have, on some of the Premier League games, we get a lot of Lee Dixon. And he talks about, and Thierry Henry's on the panel here for the Champions League games. And they talk a lot about Arsene Wenger and how he instilled that whole different mindset of body, mind, and rest and relaxation was as important as the work you put in on the pitch and the training ground. So if you look at how many, I mean, you look at the Ryder Cup, for example, how many of those golfers have sports psychologists? And then now how many players in the Premier League they have these wellness people, and the wellness covers diet, health, nutrition, recovery, sports psychology, all of those things, hydration, rehydration. And it's such a coveted position now. It's almost like having your set play coach now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things that didn't exist 10 years ago are now commonplace now. Someone's making a hell of a living out of it, but if that's the results, it's money well spent. I mean, talk to Giggsy. He got into yoga before anyone was doing yoga, and he played 20-something years at one club. You know what I mean? So whatever it brings out, I was thinking about this when I was watching the game. I was like, I hope Granite's there another year next season just to keep bringing these younger players through. But how much longer we're going to get out of him, you know what I mean? So that was going through my mind when he was just strolling around and knocking every pass. He had a big left-footed switch of play that was just phenomenal. And he certainly, you know, at his age, he's. I think we've still got a lot more to come from him.
Well, it's interesting.
As long as we've got a couple of young lads sat next to him to be his legs, you can play.
Well, Rig and Lefray just running their socks off.
But even though you mentioned his legs, right? I thought like the weekend, I thought he was all over the pitch. I mean,
he covered the most distance on Saturday.
Yeah. And he's done the last few games, I think.
But he's not all that quick. I mean, we saw that. I think it was Burnley's second goal. Saka was last man, and their player who scored the goal just fucked off from him. Yeah, he left him standing. But as long as he's got Sadiki at the moment, and hopefully Diarra before Christmas by his side, he's great. I mean, he's got so much time on the ball. I just can't believe how much. It's like he's got a no entry zone around him. There's nobody sitting up his arse all the time. Go back to your thing earlier on, Pete, about him settling down. For me sins, I'm a Borussia Mönchengladbach fan over here, and we're sitting bottom of the league with 2 points after 7 games. But we'll not talk about that. But Saka, when he came out of Switzerland, he started off in Geneva or somewhere like that. We bought him when he was 19 and put him straight into the first team. His first season, he was like Lee Cattermole on speed. I've mentioned this before. He got, I think it was 9 red cards in his first season.
Wow.
He was a hell of a player. You could see there was a great player there, but he just couldn't control himself. And then he started to settle down a wee bit. He went to Arsenal, and as you'd say, it was a bit of a firebrand there as well. Maybe he felt he had to prove himself. When he came back here to Leverkusen, he won the double. Leverkusen had never won a bloody thing in Germany. They were always vice something or other. The vice champions, or runners up. They were runners up in the league. That 1 year they managed to be runners up in the league, runners up in the cup, and runners up in the Champions Cup within 2 weeks. You know, I mean, they could have won all 3. They lost all 3. But he came in and he settled the team down. And Leverkusen had some bloody good players for them. Bert was playing for them at the time. There's another lad who went to Aston Villa, right winger, I can't remember his name. Anyway, they had some bloody good players.
But who was their manager then as well? Who was their manager? Alonso.
Alonso, that's Alonso brought them all together. Alonso knew which players he wanted, and Saka was top of his list. And rightly so. He recognised in Saka probably what he knew he used to do himself.
Right, exactly. And he had that mindset of calming things. Alonso calmed things down, and I think it rubbed off on Xhaka, you know?
Yeah. And when we got Saka, he must be knackered if we are getting him. You know, I thought he was shagged, but he's anything but. He's just so pleased we've got him playing for us.
But the comments that he makes here about his mate who's like been like giving him advice on what to take, what to do. He says a particularly important point for me has always been the topic of taking supplements. And he says his mate showed him that you don't take supplements simply because they are trending or popular, but only target when the body really needs them. He's always explained to me why something makes sense and explained why it doesn't. This awareness has completely changed my perspective on health. So it's very clear that he looks after himself and he's in tip-top shape. I mean, you could say the same about Henderson as well. Henderson, like, he's looked after himself as well.
Well, it's not just a question of him looking after himself. I mean, the amount of comments I've seen from various Sunderland players. There was an interview with that I read from Chris Rigg this morning. he looks after everybody else. There was an ex-Arsenal player on Match of the Day or something like that sometime a couple of weeks ago, and he said, when I was at Arsenal with Saka, you could hear him everywhere. You could hear him. He was talking to people. He just never shut up. He didn't get on your nerves because he was talking sense. And Chris Rigg said this morning, he tells you what you should be doing, and he controls everything. He's the trainer on the pitch. He's, to go back to what I think Peter was saying earlier on, he's Reggie's right hand on the pitch.
Well, you can also see.
I think the two of them are on the same wavelength. He tells Saka how he wants a game to go, and Saka brings that 100%.
If you watch that Peter, or if you listen to that Peter Crouch podcast, he'd be parched.
Yeah,
he'd be parched. He is like the coach on the pitch, but it's phenomenal. I mean, it's fantastic what he's doing.
I follow like most of the players on Instagram. I follow most of the players on Instagram, and like you can see that some people might think that Granit Xhaka, captain, he might have kind of like a boundary around him to say like you can't cross his boundary, but he seems to have banter with all the players. Like Sadiqi basically
most of the time. I'm talking about opposing players. When I said that earlier on, I was talking about opposing players who can't get near him. When he's moving, obviously going to be tackled. But when he receives the ball, nobody took his arse trying to take it off him. He does something before they try and take it off him.
But I wasn't making a point about the opposing players. Just like basically that you think that a captain's coming in, he's like made of man of steel, and you think like people might be a bit like in awe of him, no? Like, and they think that they have to kind of like keep the distance, but you can see that on the Instagram post that he puts, that there's loads of banter between the players, and he's also done this psychopath that we do every year at Halloween. He's taken part in that, so it's really nice to see. We were just talking there about Granit Xhaka, but we're going to get back onto the match because we've talked about pretty much everything apart from the match so far. Pete, Trey Hume had a gorgeous header, didn't he, at the back post that he should have made it 2-0, but he didn't hit the post. He'll be kicking himself for that, won't he?
That, of anyone, like, there's several people like Dan Ballard's obviously going to head the ball well, but when it's a diving header and it's come out there and he's the last player, you're always told just put it back across the goal. If he'd done that, it's a goal. Well, put it anywhere really, and it's a goal. So fabulous opportunity. I'm sure he'll be licking his chops if he has another opportunity like that. But he just throws himself at everything. That tackle a couple of games ago when he slid in, took the ball, and then took the play. I forget who we were playing, but
Aston Villa against Morgan Rogers, wasn't it?
Yes, for Rogers. It was brilliant. But he leaves nothing out there, so he'll be more mad at himself than anybody. But what a position to find himself in for an outside back, attacking that space. And 9 times out of 10, I think he puts it in the back of the net. The old onion bag gets bulged and he's happy. But he'll be looking at that back again and like, I should have scored. You know what I mean? Well, brilliant ball in again.
Aye. Lebris made a comment, didn't he, pre-match about that we need to get a second goal to finish teams off much earlier than we are getting them. And again, we missed out a chance. And after the match, he actually mentioned again that it was disappointing that we didn't get the second goal until the 92nd minute. So can you see him kind of tweaking the way we play to try and be a bit more offensive to try and get that second goal? Or do you just think he's going to keep on being the same and hopefully he can tweak it little by little?
I don't think we're defending phenomenally, as we all know. And there's a reason why our players are in teams of the week. But we're getting the results with it. And I don't think we're actually sitting as deep as we did last year and getting people on the counter-attack. I think our midfield's a little higher up. And if you notice, at times Rigg was ahead of Isidore and pressing to get the ball into the corner so we could get the ball turned over. And I think we did a very good job of that. I wouldn't change a thing that he's doing right now. A player or two here and there, but we all have opinions, and he sees what goes on in the training pitch. And perhaps there was a knock here or there while players were away. I think I don't know how long Rigg will play. just because he's still young and it's a heavy workload, and he captained the under 20s or 21s or whatever he did to victory.
20s, yeah.
Under 20s. So he's getting a lot of playing time everywhere, and he's probably playing more than he was expecting. I mean, I feel a bit sorry for Dan Neil right now, but it's all part of the process. You look at a player who wants to better themselves and they go off to Germany and he's not playing, and now his parents are upset. I wouldn't take Joe back right now because of his parents, not because of him. It's almost like you're coaching college football over here in the soccer in the States here, and parents can get involved. Well, come on, are you 12-year-old? What? But I wouldn't change a thing about how he's playing, because I think that second block that we have is playing a little higher. And if we see how much Granit Xhaka comes back. We see how much Lefebvre comes back and is tracking, and he's both sides of the ball. I think he's a better player than he was in the Championship. Mm-hmm. I think we're really seeing the player, and he's got a bit more freedom because he's not playing out and out wide. And I just think it's fantastic for him. I think we're reaping the benefits of that as well.
Mm-hmm. I think with Riggy, there was one point in the game where he actually tracked back really well and won a goal kick, but he ran from halfway lines right to our goal, and you can see that he's got the energy, he's got the aggression that he needs to play in the Premier League. But I think he's still a bit awestruck, I think, at the minute, isn't he? Because he's still only 18, and he's thinking Jesus Christ, I'm playing in the Premier League here.
It looks like that sometimes. You'd see a pass that he would make, and I was shocked. Granit Xhaka played 2 square balls and got picked off. But the difference with Xhaka, he just gets back. His head dropped. I saw his head drop when he missed a pass out wide. And I think it was as much Traore's fault as his, but and not to point the finger, but Riggy's head dropped, And I think the difference with the more mature players or more experienced players, they just do the work back and then chastise themselves a little bit. And, for Rig, I think he's still got that youthfulness about him, and he's still got to learn those things, but he's got the right people around him to remind him, Mm-hmm. But when he does make a mistake, I think he's still got his head shake and his shoulders slump. And I think that's just part of being young,
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Right, so as the second half wore on then, Wolves did come on to the game, didn't they? And we did seem to have our backs against the wall, didn't we, towards that second half?
We did.
And I remember Michael Bridges, on the stream that I was watching, Michael Bridges was commenting, and he said, for example, it's as if these Sunderland players just love defending.
Yeah, Michael Bridges, we were listening to him as well, and it's interesting because every commentator, everybody except Alan Shearer, obviously, everybody talks about how well we defend as a team. But they also, when you've got 3 of your defenders in the Sky Sports team, I don't know which pundits are picking that up, but we're doing something right. And it's like if Rolfs is getting man of the match or keeper of the week, that's not a good thing. But if your defenders are doing it just means Rolfs are probably making a lot of saves. Mm-hmm. Our defenders are doing it because they all attack and they all defend. Mm-hmm. I mean, Aldereti's left foot is spectacular. He hit some cross-field balls that they were like Xhaka-like, And I love that left foot he's got, and he just cuts inside. And all of them are confident striding forward, knowing other players will sit around them. Mm-hmm. So that's been the exciting part, is knowing that we are defending well, but so is our midfield, and so is our forwards. So Lebrie's got them bought in, and I think Xhaka's got a lot to do with that. But I think bringing the experienced players in, I mean, when was the last time we had 9 first-team players playing international duty?
Never. I don't know.
I know. Yeah, I don't think it's ever. So that's exciting because, and most of them are starting for their countries, Now, we'll see what happens when the African Nations Cup comes around, and if we lose a player or 2. That's going to be the test for us, but it's a test for every team. Mo Salah leaves Liverpool, etc., etc. Although he wouldn't be a miss for them right now. Mm-hmm. But I just think it's allowed us to I mean, it goes back to the Speakman and them doing all the job of finding these players, but Labrie melding them together in such a short space of time. And I think those young'uns who were on the bench and in the academy will just look up at Xhaka and those players and just like, wow, this is what we want to be. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It'd be like Man United in the class of '92. It'd be like, we want to be part of that. So it's going to be great knock-on effect for our academy. I just think, a lot of people, especially over in the States, when they're commentating on the game, or they're actually at the game, but on American TV, they talk about what an owner we have, and he's still relatively young, but, they showed him coming across the bridge.
He's not even 30 yet. He's not even 30.
No, but he comes across the bridge with Bowley and Phillips.
Yeah.
Two of the best Kevins I've ever known. My brother's called Kevin. He's just in there, and the amount of time he took signing autographs and having photos and selfies taken as the owner of a club. And then you look at Notts Forest, and they've got the Greek fella who's causing havoc down there, and 6 managers in 3 months or whatever it is, or 3 managers in 6 months or whatever. I think we've got to be blessed. Like, it's from the bottom all the way through to the top.
That's a person who really gets the club in the area, isn't it? And who's got like a pathway, not for our club, but also for himself, I think, as well.
The closest I would put him to is Niall Quinn. Because Niall Quinn made a comment the other day on Twitter or Facebook or whatever it was. Arsenal made him the player he was. Sunderland made him the person he was, And Niall Quinn still has an affection with Sunderland, and he opened some horse stables up there in Lumley in that area. But we've got an owner now who gets it, and that's what it reminds me a lot of when Quinny was in that top position, not the owner, but owner, president, manager, whatever, chairman, whatever position he had. But he was backed by the money people, and he brought in the right people, and that's what I see with KLD is like he gets it. And I think that's a big knock-on effect from his dad when he was at Marseille, and him and his younger brother or older brother, whatever, maybe it's his twin brother, I'm not sure.
Brother, I think, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a bit more of a beard than KLD does, but they were both at the game Saturday. And them being around a club like Marseille at 6, 7, 8-year-old, day in, day out, apparently, it certainly rubbed off, and we're reaping the benefits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So listen, like Wolves did have like a lot of the ball, but they didn't really threaten us, really. I mean, the chances they had were basically snapshots, or do you know what I mean? They didn't really cut us open, so you never felt worried with our defense that they were gonna get a goal. But then, obviously, in the 92nd minute, we did get that second goal, and it was obviously from a counter-attack. Mayenda won the header on the edge of the box, and I think it's Siddiqui plays out the ball to Talby, who runs up the field. But that goes to show how quickly you can get a goal from a counter-attack.
Oh, yeah. And well, that's the counter-attacking we did last season that won us so many games. You don't expect it at the Premier League level. And Wolves, a season or two ago, were in the top 4 and 5. And for us to counterattack that quickly just shows what we're capable of. And we've got players with pace. And it's not just Mayenda. We've got other players when everyone's fit and healthy. We've got 5 or 6 players can counterattack at that speed. I mean, you look at that disallowed goal. He got in behind their defenders like they weren't there. And he just brushed the player aside and lashed that left foot shot in. Unfortunately, they give it as offside. But, I like what Arsene Wenger came out with today. He's proposed to UEFA that it's a full body has to be beyond the defender.
Like daylight or not daylight or?
I didn't read the full thing, but he was on about it has to be a full body. So it almost goes back to the old days, which wasn't too long ago. But before VAR, I think they should just get rid of VAR, to be honest. That's my own opinion. But he just proposed we go back to a full, I think it's got to probably be daylight, but a full person, the attacker's got to be fully beyond the defender. I agree with him, you know. And Isidore would have been onside, you know.
Pete, there's like a lot of people talking about saying that Sunderland have been very lucky with the fixtures that they had, that the fixtures have been generous. And you could say partly true, but you can only beat what's in front of you. You can only play what's in front of you, right? I mean, but also if you look at the teams, I mean, Wolves last season, they've been in Premier League for years. Nottingham Forest got into the Europa League, I think, didn't they, or something like that?
Yeah, Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace, FA Cup. And listen, there is an element of luck that we play in teams, for example, Nottingham Forest. They've had two managers and they've both been, well, one of them got sacked because he fell out with the owner. The other one got eaten by the owner and paid him like 7 million quid to pay him off.
Sean Dyche obviously just taken over today.
Yeah.
But he was seen in a hot tub with the owner in Dubai.
I bet there's
some
bubbles.
Sean Dyche, though. Sean Dyche is a proper lad, you know what I mean?
I bet there's some bubbles in there. But the thing is, like Palace as well. When we played Palace, they had they were a bit upset because I think they'd been refused to go in the Europa League because of the multi-ownership thing. Guehi was going to go to Liverpool. They lost a couple of players as well. Eze. So, in a sense, we have capitalised on some good fortune that's come our way. But it doesn't mean that we've had an easy run because you still have to win the games. I mean, I think our fans are probably more frustrated that we lost 2-0 at Old Trafford against Man United than the 2-0 defeat at Burnley.
Right.
Because of the way things are.
Right. And that loss to Burnley was, we were playing well. That loss to Man United, I was going into the game thinking we could win that one 2-0, you know. You would never have said that against Man United 6, 7, 8 years ago or whatever, 10 years ago. But
with
now,
the pressure on Amorim as well. I mean, if he'd have lost that game, he probably would have been sacked, I reckon.
Yeah. And again, we made the changes, but all the damage was done. But having run soccer clubs over here, football clubs, you put the parameters in the league dates in, and the system spits out the fixtures. So you can't blame anybody for good fortune or good luck or bad luck. It's the luck of the draw, and you have a computer system that spits those out. Now they can add parameters. So if they want a Liverpool Man United game around Boxing Day for good viewership, they probably could put that in there. But to be honest, it wouldn't matter who we played. We're going to come out the same way. Now, right, we've got Chelsea on Saturday. Well, you know what? They play Champions League tomorrow.
Right.
So anything can happen to Chelsea on tomorrow, injury-wise. Hopefully no one gets injured. But they've got to have a few more tired legs than we're going to have. And Maresca, I don't know if he's still suspended, but he was up in there. That makes a difference if your manager's not there and your team's had a midweek game. Normally, if they're playing a Wednesday, they might have moved that to a Sunday. We're playing them Saturday, and they've only got 2 or 3 days rest. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we didn't plan that. So I wouldn't say it's good fortune or good luck. It's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And we've taken advantage of it. The fact that we have more, like I say, we have the best home record in the whole league. The whole league.
Yeah,
no one would have said that at the beginning of the season. And the fact that we've got more points now than Southampton got the whole of last season, it's positive. Now, we've got to maintain that. And they said, I was reading an article last night, and they said, if we maintain a 1.75 points, which is not, 1.75, who gets some? It's like the XG, expected goals.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you've got to put the ball in the back of the net. I don't know what the XG is. I know what it means, and I know what the stats are, but we won 2-0.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The XG was 0.85 one time when I was watching the game, and then we go and score 2 goals. So these stats, there's so much stuff coming on the stats side.
I think you've nailed it there. Like taking advantage of other teams' problems is been our strength this season as well. Because look, like West Ham, Potter got sacked. Brentford lost Frank to Tottenham. As we've mentioned, Forest, Palace, and the other games that we've played, like they've all had some kind of problem, and I think that's what we've got to do. We've got to take advantage of these kind of things because we've got the stability to progress. But Ian, our next run of games then is very challenging on paper, right? Because you got Chelsea away, David Moyes. We shall not name him, but we will. Everton at home following that. Arsenal at home, Fulham away, Bournemouth at home, Liverpool away, Man City away between now and the 6th of December. And then obviously the week after we've got the Mags at home. So that is...
Easy.
Aye.
Easy. That's an easy run. That's a better run than what you said, that.
Well, it's probably
I'm pleased that we've got 14 points now of the cushion against what I think is obviously going to happen in the next few fixtures. I'm not going to say we're going to get hammered because I don't think we will. We're far too good for that. But there will be games where we lose by the odd goal or two. And we just have to accept that. I mean, we know we're not going to get anywhere near Europe this year. I'm in the same mindset as I was at the start of the season. If we stay up, I'm happy. And I think we'll stay up. I think we've got it in us to stay up. The fact that to quote the Mags, we've played nobody yet. The only table that makes any sense is the one at the end of the season when everybody's played everybody twice. And I think that when that table is there, we will not be in the bottom three.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned there, we're not getting you. I've renewed my passport, Ian, so.
Hey, I've had to take out a British passport because they won't give me a visa for my German passport.
Oh, bloody hell. Oh.
I've had a German passport for 20 years now, but because I've got dual nationality, I'm allowed. I can by rights hold a British passport, and I should hold it. So I just it was last year. No, it started this year.
You know, all this diplomatic bollocks, it doesn't exist. It's just like bloody handshakes. And there's no relationship. You can have both passports and nobody will say fuck all.
I have both. I have US and UK passport.
Yeah,
no problem.
And as long as you don't show the wrong one at passport control, you're fine.
Exactly.
Well, if you come over the UK, bring your British passport with you.
That's what I do. But I have my other one for when I come back.
Exactly.
Yeah. Use your US one to get back in. I do that when I go back home. I take my British passport so I can get in with no hassles. When I come back, I present my German passport.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
But I came through to baggage claim here in Seattle.
Right.
And then I just happened to stand by Sir Nick Faldo. So I chit-chatted to him for about 10 minutes. Lovely fella. As you do. Yeah.
As you do.
Sir Nick.
Bloody hell. I remember him like playing PGA golf on the PlayStation. Right. Pete,
did he have his Pringle jumpers on?
Probably. Pete, this Saturday we got Chelsea away. Ian mentioned before that I think it was Ian. He mentioned before that he would go to a back five. Or that we might go to a back five for Chelsea on Saturday. Would you? Do you think that's the right way to go after what we saw at Man United? No, the Man United game was just a one-off because of the Ahmad and Mbumo. Masuaku was like isolated. Adingwe wasn't tracking back. He got hooked after 38 minutes.
I think I've said this before on your show, Lee. It's a lineup. You know what I mean? The game's so fluid. I don't call it a 5-3-2 or a 5-4-1 because we know any of our outside backs will get forward. Do you know what I mean? And if it is a back three with Hume on the right and Ronaldinho back on the left, we will attack like there's no tomorrow, but we'll defend fantastically well. I think that's a distinct possibility. Again, we don't know what the injury shout is, but Chelsea play tomorrow, and they're going to have some tired legs. I'm going to guess, I forget who they play tomorrow. Ajax. They play Ajax tomorrow. Yeah. It's not going to be an easy game.
Knackered, isn't he?
Who?
Palmer.
Cole Palmer.
He's still out. Tomorrow might be his first game back, I think. I don't know if he played Saturday.
I thought he was still injured.
Yeah, well, he could be a big difference. But I would, to answer your question, Lee, I would play 3 with 2 out attacking wing backs. I mean, I watched the Man United game at the weekend, and I wouldn't have a Dalot out there, but Ahmad was phenomenal. But you have Trey on one side, and he'll get up and down like a fiddler's elbow. So if we have 2 outside backs can do that, and then have Ballard, Alderete, and McNee in the middle, I think we'd be hard to break down.
Yeah, it was interesting you talking about how the team was set up there, Pete. I mean, McNee started out at right back. He scored his goal from left wing.
Aye.
What the hell was he doing there?
Well, not because he was throw-ins.
He played a 1-2 with a left back.
I used to get a nosebleed if I was that high up the pitch. You know what I mean? I'd have a coach. My manager would be dragging me back with a shepherd's crook. You know what I mean?
I was always tied to the goalpost. Me, I never got further than the 18 yards.
Well, we don't want to go into that stuff. Come on, tie the ropes.
Well, I'm just looking at Cole Palmer. It looks like he's out until November, so he won't be playing against us.
Good. I mean, it's not good that he's out till November. I like him as a player, but yeah.
I suppose, Pete, an interesting decision he's got to make is, does he go with Rigg again in the midfield, or does he play Lafay there, or does Lafay play left wing? It's a bit of an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, one player that must be thinking, who can't wait to get back, is Romain Mundle, because he must have seen that where Talby's been taken out the team, Adingra's been taken out the team, Lafay's playing left wing, Traore's right wing. He said, I can't wait to get fit to get back in that team.
If I were Mundle, I'd be chomping at the bit, but I know he was a little upset that we signed those players and he kind of dropped down the pecking order. But I think a fit Mundle coming back in and his speed and his quality of crosses, I think he'd be in there right now. It'd be tough because I think, like we were saying earlier, I think Lafay plays better in this free role. So it might be Rigg that gets pulled back. I don't know. He's got such a good engine in him, though, that it'd be hard not to include him. And we hope Traore's not the player out there again, because I just don't see that work rate from him. Maybe he's just catching up to the speed of the. But if he's doing that, then I'd use him later on in the season, not now. You know what I mean? But we are not on the pitch training every day with him, and Regis Labrie obviously sees something. And right now he's got it right. So I don't want to, we all talked at the end of last season about what we could do up top, and was it going to be, who was going to be the wide players? Where should Lafay be playing? And Labrie got it right. And he obviously sees stuff on the training pitch that we don't. We're not seeing it translate into games for Traore right now, but it may come. But I just think there's other better options there right now from a fan standpoint and from a visual standpoint of how we look on the pitch, but more so the work ethic we get from players like Rigg and Lafay as opposed to Traore, But Siddiqui, again, worked his socks off for someone who was apparently,
on crutches,
carried off on a stretcher and on crutches, yeah. But that might be a little mind games from Regis Labrie, which I love.
Yeah. Ian, Enzo Lafay's been one player that's really impressed me, since he's come back into the team, because he's the kind of guy who got dropped, didn't he? But when Siddiqui and Diarra signed, he's the kind of one who got taken out. He didn't start the season, but he's worked his way back into the team, and he works his bollocks off, doesn't he, for the team?
Oh, he certainly does. I mean, a lot of the work that he does isn't all that spectacular, and that's why it goes under the radar. But if you actually watch him instead of watching the game and see what he does, he works a hell of a lot, and he defends brilliantly. He's a hell of a player. I mean, I'm so pleased with. I mean, he was the first one that we got in where we seemed to mean it. It looked as though we were giving it a good shot. And due to the fact that there's another 13 fairly expensive players come in after him, he seems to have been a little bit lost in the wash, but he's still a very important member of the team. And I can't see him being sacrificed on Saturday if we do go to a back five. I think Rigg will be dropped to the bench, but he's still got something to give. He's still learning. I mean, for fuck's sake, he's only 18 years old, and still learning. But he still looks a little bit lightweight. He's got to fill out a bit like Job did. Job in his first season with us, he was skinny as a rake. The second season, he was a man.
Mm-hmm.
He was a big bloke, and I hope the same happens to Rigg in the next couple of years. He develops, he grows, and he can be a very important player for us. But at the moment, I would drop him on Saturday. I would leave Lefay in to bomb down the left with Reinildo. I would put Talby in to bomb down the right with Hume. Back the big lads at the back in the three, Siddiqui and Saka in midfield. And up front, I would stick with Wilson for the time being, because although he hasn't scored for 2 games, he's still capable. I mean, he was unlucky to be offside with his goal, and he absolutely leathered in on Saturday. I've never seen a shot hit that hard for a long time. As a goalkeeper, I wouldn't have liked to have been in the way of that. And even in the second half, the right foot shot that he got away with just trickled past the post. He had no right to get anywhere near it. But it shows he's fighting. It shows he's still got confidence. I know what I listened to what you say earlier on, especially after he signed permanently for us. His head went down a bit. He seemed to lose a bit of confidence. But I would say his confidence is still fairly high at the moment. It might drop if he starts being pulled out for Mayenda for us to start a game. I mean, Mayenda's coming in at 60 minutes or 70 minutes at the moment, and that seems to be working. To go back to Pete's point, a long time ago, he wasn't that Labrie wasn't making his substitutes till about 70, 80 minutes. The reason he's making substitutes so early this time of the season, he's now got a squad he's confident in. He knows he can bring a player on who can do a job. And all of those people sitting on the bench can do a job.
And Pete, so it's obvious that Isidore's going to start on Saturday. We'd like to think so. But a penny for Brian Brobby's thoughts at the minute, because 25 million. I know. And he's sat on the bench and he's barely played.
Well, and even when he's come on, he hasn't really done anything, And I feel for him a little bit. I mean, you don't pay that money, and we've got it right 9/10 of the time this in our signings, but he just hasn't stepped in and done anything yet. Like I said a few shows ago, he reminds me a lot of who's the lad who went back? Altidore. He reminds me so much of Altidore. He's a better player than Altidore, I've got to be honest.
He is.
But that's what he reminds me of, because he's strong, he runs through people. But when he's come on, I've seen very little of what he's been paid to produce. But he might just need a longer run in the team to find out how he plays with other players, But if you take Isidore out of the equation, does Mayenda go in there? And if he doesn't, is then it Brobby? So where is he on the pecking order? That's a tough one. And as long as we keep playing with this formation, I think it's going to be Mayenda or unless Brobby's just getting up to the speed of play again. But right now, we talked about this at the beginning of the show, Isidore is playing confidently, like that left-footed shot, even though it was disallowed. What a strike. Why would you drop him while his confidence is so high? And right now he seems to bring in Mayenda for him. So Robbie's down at the third choice, But hopefully he comes on. He's more skillful than Altidore was, but I think he's using his brute strength right now. And I don't think we're seeing the full package of what he's available to do, because I watched a lot of clips when he was playing in Holland, and he's a better player than we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
No, I think personally, I'm still not convinced that Mayenda's a forward. I think he's a wide forward, better because you could see that when Wilson was on, he was winning headers and he was unsettling the defenders. Mayenda, the only header he won for us when he came on was on the edge of our box defending to get our second goal.
Yeah. And Mayenda gets beyond Isidore. If Isidore gets that flick on, it was a bit like when we had Ross Stewart. Players got beyond them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sad that Ross Stewart's got another, looks like season-ending injury. But Rolfs has got such a good strike on him. That long ball does create havoc. And we have players like Mayenda with pace who can get beyond Isidore. Isidore wins that flick on. And that's where I think Mayenda's better. But it seems like Labrie likes him to come on for Isidore right now. That might change and Bobby might become the central player.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. Right, well, we're going to leave it there. But before we do, Ian, Pete, give us your predictions for Saturday.
Oh, bugger off.
All right, I'll start.
Win, lose or draw?
I mean, I'm going to have to answer this question sometime or other anyway, Pete, so I may as well get it out of the bloody way. I won't be, the same as I said for Manchester United, I won't be surprised if we lose. I'll be pleased with the draw, and if we win, I'll be over the moon.
And you'll get drunk.
I can't see
I'll go 1-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go for 1-1.
I'll be happy with us. Definitely happy with us.
I'll go for 1-1 as well. Right, well, there's one thing left to do. Ian, go on. Yes. Tell the listeners, or anyone that we want listeners, that we want more subscribers on Spotify and YouTube. And if they want to vote for us, they can vote for us in the Footballer Supporters Association Awards, even though we're nobodies. So go on, you tell the people to vote for us and to start following us.
Vote for us and start following us, you bastards.
That'll do.
Rob, come round and put your windows out.
Yeah, that sounds like seeing that, doesn't it? Right. Pete, Ian, thanks a lot for your time this afternoon, this evening. No and we'll speak again soon. How are the lads?
How are the lads?
Thank you.